Hello, welcome to the world from the front view of my camera phone, my phone camera from a harness hanging around my neck, which is how you will be seeing a lot of things over the course of the semester, I'm afraid. I wanted to show you, as we are packing up, the supply kits for hand sewing and some of the machine sewing for the sewing section of the course, what those tools are, and just talk about them a minute as they're going into the bag. And then you can know what to expect when the bag arrives at you at your home. So we're going to pack them in these handy dandy padded envelopes. They'll be coming your way. The first thing that we're going to put in is, of course, some scissors. We will be sending both fabric scissors and paper scissors. For the fabric scissors, we have these for people who are oriented with the right hand. And if you are left-handed, we will have these scissors in there. So your scissors will be either teal or this sort of orangey red, depending on your orientation or your handedness. The other pair of scissors that we will be including is a pair of much cheaper, lighter weight. You'll notice that they're very lightweight compared to the fabric scissors, paper scissors. And unfortunately, I have not been able to find a cheap pair of paper scissors, that would be good for paper, with a left-handed orientation. I'm still looking. We're not sending these off until the beginning of the coming week. So I will continue to look. If I am unable to find a pair of left-handed oriented scissors, my apologies for paper scissors. But hopefully they'll work okay for you. Cutting paper is not nearly as taxing as cutting fabric, so hopefully if we can't find left-handed scissors, the right-handed ones will work okay for you. It's very important when you first get your scissors, please label so that you know which scissors are your fabric scissors and which scissors are your paper scissors. You can put a piece of tape around the handle. You could take a little bit of ribbon and tie a different colored ribbon, or tie a piece of ribbon on and then write fabric on one and paper on the other, okay? But it's important to remember that you want to keep them separate. You don't want to be cutting paper with your fabric scissors. It will make them not able to cut fabric eventually, okay? So those will be in there. The other thing is a group of measuring tools. We will have for you in there one of these see-through rulers. It's in its little plastic holder, so I'm not going to take it out to show to you. But if any of y'all have been in the costume studio, you know that this is something that we use a lot. So hopefully you'll get some good use out of it at home. It is see-through so that you can tell where the edge of your fabric is underneath it when you lay it down. That can help you with your seam, you mark seam allowances and do a variety of things. So you will have a long 18-inch see-through ruler. You will also have sort of the classic soft tape measure that we use in the costume studio for measuring bodies, for measuring people, for clothing, and for us to make clothing for them. We're sending everybody this. We're unsure. You may or may not need it in terms of your work in the class, but particularly those of you who are in our production program, we may actually be asking you to perform measurements on yourself at home, and so we want you to have a tool in order to do that. Okay. The other sort of scissor-oriented thing is this, which is a pair of thread snips. They're in this little, I'm not going to pull them out of their little handy-dandy container here, but you could put a ribbon on them or hang them around your neck. It's really convenient when you're hand sewing or when you're working at a machine to have a pair of snips that are not your big scissors that you're constantly having to reach for. So these are sort of a convenient tool for you to have when you're sewing. Okay. The other thing that we will give to you is a seam ripper. A seam ripper is if you stitch something together, whether by hand or by machine, this will allow you to pick your stitches out if you need to remove them for any reason. Mistakes get made, and so the seam ripper is to help you remove them so that you can fix them. It is pretty sharp on the tip. You can do some damage with it, and you certainly don't want it to poke you. So it comes with a cap. So make sure that that cap is seated on it nicely when you go to store it or put it away. The other thing that you're going to have is a pin cushion, which is not really a cushion. It is a pin magnet, and then some additional pins to go along with that. It is magnetized. Okay, it's a little tool like this. If you've been in the costume studio at Dickinson, you know you've seen this a lot. It comes with a few pins in here, and then we got you some additional ones. So you should have plenty to work on your projects with. Please note, don't put the magnet near your electronics because, again, it's a magnet, and electronics don't enjoy that. Okay. The other thing that we have for you is, of course, an assortment of hand sewing needles. Let me see if I can get the glare off of that. There you go. They come in a little pack like this. You should try to keep them in this pack while you're at home. It really is annoying to try to sort your pins from your needles. So I don't really recommend keeping your sewing needles on your pin magnet, although you can certainly do that. But this little case, you can pull your pins in and out of it and just keep them in here, even if you have thread on them, attached on them. I remember my grandma used to have a little thing like this, and she had different colored threads in each one of the needles so that she didn't have to look for threads when she needed to sew on a button or something. So these are your hand sewing needles. This little gizmo here is a needle threader, which when we get to hand sewing, we can talk about that a little bit. It is not a tool that that I use a lot. Julie doesn't use one. We've never had students, but if you do have issues threading needles, it can be really useful. So hang on to it, because if you have challenges with that, that can help you. The last sort of tool item that is in your kit will be tailor's chalk. And that is in this little tube. I'm going to show you what it looks like here. It acts kind of like a pencil, so you know your chalk is here at the end of it. Okay, and you can use this to mark on fabric. Again, we'll talk more about this when we get to projects. It has 3 different colors in it. It is not real easy to change, but you pop this little gizmo out, and then if like say your fabric is white and you want to use maybe a yellow on it or a blue instead of the white that's going to match the fabric really closely, you want to remove that and change it. And you can do that with a pencil and shoving it back through. Like I said, it's not really easy to change, but it is changeable. There you go. Yep, like I said, not incredibly easy. Then put your blue in and push it through. Luckily, the new one sort of goes in a little easier than the old one comes out. There you go. Okay. And then do that. The other thing you can do if you don't care to have the little pencil-like quality of having this in a holder. You can also use the pieces of chalk just as pieces of chalk without putting them in the holder. And that may be more convenient. You can also use a tool other than a pencil to push them in and out, okay? But that is your Taylor chalk pencil, okay? All right, so that is it for the tools that are in here, and we'll do another video and talk a little bit about the supplies that will be in there and how you will use them, okay? Thanks. See you soon.